welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We all know that our Caravan is a few months off now because of the little mishap with the fibre tech. Well, not really a mishap. They're going to get the laminate changed and that's going to get all sorted out, so it's going to be a lot thicker if you're not familiar with what's happened with the Caravan. But anyway, these things happen. So what I figured is, what I'll do is show you guys some of the components that are going to go into the Caravan whilst we're waiting for it to get built. And one of those is a very important thing, probably one of the most important things of your Caravan, and that's the suspension. So here I am, I've come down to TEKO. Now, you probably know them as Tuff Ride. So they're just transitioning a new name, TEKO, and they obviously build suspensions, fully Australian made, fully done in-house. I'll show you guys very shortly inside. I'm just going to get some high vis on and go in there. They have robots. It's bloody amazing in there. Like there's so much involved in suspension, it's not funny. So I'll show you the airbag systems, everything that goes on in here, all the components. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot happening. So let's go. This is what we're having in our van. So you've got the airbag man, which is super important to level up your van and make sure you've got a nice comfortable ride. Also the EFS suspension with the disc brake. The particular stud setup is going to be the same as the Land Cruiser, so we're laughing there. It's just the stud diameter that's going to be slightly different, and we just use different nuts for that particular. So they're not interchangeable, but the wheels are, which is great to know. It's real peace of mind. And that's to do with Toyota's changed their stud pattern throughout all their series. So the 300 Land Cruiser has a slightly different stud pattern. So that's all sorted out. Can't wait to test this out in the road. I'm all high-vised up, so I'm legally allowed to sort of walk the premises, which is great to know. So here are all the components that they get laser cut, which I'm going to take you down to that factory very shortly. I'm so fortunate, and it's just awesome that these guys will let me come in and do this. So yeah, as you see, all these components here. So the robots do all the welding. They've got jigs set up. The welding is immaculate. Like some of the welds are just bloody, look at that. No grinding there. Comes down the line. They're all stacked up. They're just building stock at the moment. Here's some more chassis. Blokes welding at the back here. I won't go in there. There's a bit of grinding going on. Got a spray booth over the back here as well where they do all the painting. It's where they paint all the suspension. Here's the spray booth. They come over here and hang. So this will be an etched primer that goes over the top. And then that starts the assembly line. You've got all your bump stops. There's disc brakes, drum brakes, all the way up here. And then it starts to get packaged because they get sent out to all the manufacturers. So they only just don't do caravans, it's also camper trailers, anything to do with trailers with large suspensions. So it's a bit of a well-oiled machine. But what I will say about these guys, they all four-wheel drive, they all camp, so they're always out and about. The owner has recently done the old the Canning stock route, and he took a Caravan through there, mind you, with no issues whatsoever. So I'm pretty confident. The suspensions are tough, hence why they're called Tuff Ride, I suppose. But what I will also say is that we had Tuff Ride suspension in our previous van. It didn't have airbags, it wasn't disc brake, it was just your standard drum brakes, and we never had issues with it. So you can only go by what you know and what you've used before. But I know this stuff is all built here, right here in Australia. So that is a huge tick for us, massive tick.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Perfect weld.
Ah, look at that weld. We're going to see, we're going to meet up with the owner, Cobus. Can find him. Where is he? Busy man. Here I am with Cobus, and I'm so fortunate that he's allowed me to come down and film some suspensions, because I've got limited experience with suspensions, and why not come to the horse's mouth and find out exactly the ins and outs of how these things operate, because they're probably, if not, the most important part of your caravan or your trailer.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
that's the foundation of your ride comfort.
That's it. So just a few things, mate. How long have you been in operation for?
We've been manufacturing Tuff Ride suspension since 2014, and Tuff Ride as a business has been on its own since the 1st of July 2017.
Okay, and now you've transitioned over to
Yeah,
TEKO.
we're transitioning over. Tuff Ride will become a product.
Yep.
This is the year that we'll make the transition. The business name will transition to TEKO.
Yep.
Same ABN, same credentials, same. Nothing changes on the business side of things.
Yep.
TEKO just becomes the name of the business. Tuff Ride becomes a product.
Yep.
And so we'll add on other products.
I'm also excited to see the airbag suspension that's going into our particular van, because we've never had airbag suspension before, and it's going to eliminate the fact of having to put chocks under the wheels and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be bloody awesome. And I can't. We can't wait to get it.
Once you have those, you never go without them.
Just a couple other things, mate. I just wanted to find out what sort of air pressure should I be riding in those airbags on tarmac?
That's an interesting question, and that's a mistake people often make.
Yep.
It's not really about the air pressure, as
Yep.
long as you don't exceed the maximum air pressure.
Yep.
Air pressure is almost irrelevant, because as your load changes, your air pressure will change.
Ah, yeah, it will.
And once it's like an air cylinder, once you overcome the weight or the force needed to lift the van, all
Yep.
you need is more volume.
Okay.
So you can have varied heights at the same pressure, depending on the volume of the cylinder.
Yep.
That's a bit technical, but really you need to be having the van at the right suspension height, or the bag at the right length,
Yep.
rather than a pressure. So,
Right.
So I think you running a stage 4,
Yep.
which gives you an auto level
Yep.
function.
Yep.
So then before you travel, you put it on auto level,
And it
it
will
takes
just-
it to the correct level.
Okay.
And then you flick it down to ride again, or the travel height.
Yep.
And then basically you just travel. So
And that's obviously the same concept with when you're on corrugations and.
on corrugations, you will not alter the suspension height or airbag
Yep.
pressure.
Okay.
Tire pressure
Definitely.
That'll be your
Yep.
friend.
Yep.
But airbag pressure in the
Doesn't matter.
airbags will not change.
Yep.
The reason is you need to be at the optimum height that the airbag can compress and expand or,
Yep.
or retract to
Yep.
for the most comfortable ride. And so that's why that
That's what you
length of the
wanna work at.
airbag is
Okay.
what's important.
Well, that's good
And
to know.
what's
yeah.
interesting is once you start doing extended corrugations, the heat in the airbag actually eats up, so you might actually see a little bit of an
It's going to
extension.
expand a bit.
So, and every second hour that you stop and do something, you just do an auto correction again, and it'll find the
Bring
right
it back
correct
to,
height.
okay, yeah.
That's the significance of those levers, that they'll become your friend as well.
Yeah, living the dream. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to it. What sort of servicing do we need to do on these things?
So we basically, like a new vehicle, you have a safety check or safety service within
Yeah.
the first 300 to 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah,
Especially if you're running drum brakes, you need to have it adjusted because there'll be bedding in of brakes that would happen over that period.
yeah,
Wheel bearings needs to be checked just to make sure that nothing is loose. It's a safety check more
Yeah.
than anything. And then after that, every 10,000 kilometers, when you have your van serviced or like a motor vehicle,
yeah,
wheel bearings needs to be checked. The correct operation of your brakes, if you're running discs or drum brakes, that
Yeah.
needs to be checked. It's just general maintenance. It's,
yeah.
you know,
So for the first 1,000 kilometres, you'll get it
a
checked.
safety check.
Yep.
And then after that, every 10,000 kilometers.
Okay.
It's the same way you maintain your car. You know, these
Yep.
are automotive components, so
Yeah.
the requirement is virtually similar.
Yeah, well, that's right. And just double checking after each trip, especially if
Yep.
you're doing some corrugations and stuff. As I was saying earlier, it is one of the most important, if not the most important part of your caravan or your trailer or whatever.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, we're going to head down to the laser cutting where Cobus gets most of your steel from.
Yeah, so the tube laser cutting is done
Yep.
over in that facility.
So that's very interesting to be able to go and see that. So we're super excited to take you guys along. Let's jump in the car and go and do it.
Yep. See this?
Yeah.
So there's an angle that fits here, which traditionally just sits on top of the tube.
Yep.
But now with this, you can actually bed it in.
Wow.
And so the floor then is level, because this
That's
is at
it.
the edge of the floor on
Yeah.
where the walls are in the van.
Yeah.
So this is now basically sunken into the material thickness.
Yep.
You get a flat
So
floor.
it's flush.
Yes, and it also doesn't extend.
Yeah. Imagine trying to. You just couldn't physically cut that out
No.
by yourself, could you?
You can, but it's very time
Yeah.
consuming.
Yeah. Exactly. That's amazing.
Most mesmerizing thing I've ever done.
You can just watch this all day. That would take you hours to do. Well, that's it. TEKO, Tuff Ride, suspension. Like I said, we're going with the airbag system. We've never had airbags before. It's not to say that you do need airbags, but we figured let's give it a go. We noticed that it got a bit annoying, like chocking up the van all the time. So we know that you pay a little bit more for it, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. We're going to have this van for a while, for a long time. So it's important to get it right and we basically went with top of the range, and it was so important, well, so good for us to be able to, or for me to go out and see the product itself, and be fortunate enough to be able to go through the factory and document some stuff for you guys to see how it's made. And it's, how important is it that it's made in Australia? Like every component, it's engineered here in Australia. Everything is bought, purchased, it's put together so well. And probably the most important part is the warranty levels that they offer. So it's a 5-year warranty on structural, and I think it's 2 years on parts, but the bushes themselves are actually a lifetime warranty. So I don't think any other manufacturer has that. So they pretty much stick by their product. And when it comes to things like caravans and components of caravans, it can't be stated highly enough the importance of a warranty. If you're looking at suspensions, do your research. There's plenty of brands out there. Make sure you know where it's coming from. And we know we had Tuff Ride in our previous van, and we didn't have any issues with it. So if it's not broken, why fix it? And hence why we're going back with, and we're using the same suspension. It's good to have a bit of content to show you guys, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, hit that subscribe button. And follow us along on our journey. The next stop, I'm trying to be able to go into projector. We're getting the projector IntelliGrid system, and I want to familiarize myself around that and how all that works. So I'm going to try to organize to go to their factory and do a bit of filming there. Hopefully they allow it, and then it gives me, I can speak directly with the techs, and they can, you know, tell me exactly how it all works. But I'm pretty certain it's fairly simple. Once we have our van and it's all up and running, I'll actually go through a little bit more with the suspension, show you how the airbags work and stuff, and then we'll test it ourselves, because we haven't used airbags before. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how it handles, and especially when your van's up on its side and you need to pump the other side up to get yourself out of bogs and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, I'll leave you to it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.